All right, let me just set the stage here for context. Steven Spielberg's original idea for the movie E.T. involved a family being terrorized by a group of aliens, and that movie was called Night Terrors. But this film eventually evolved into the family film E.T., and Spielberg took the family being terrorized idea, changed it from aliens to ghosts, and then made Poltergeist. And the reason I bring this up is because this movie feels like a fusion of those two ideas. The original horror version of E.T. mixed with Poltergeist. And man, is this movie effective. And comparing it to Spielberg, it very much does feel like an old Spielberg horror movie because you don't really get a good look at the monster until the end. And unlike most horror movies where when they finally reveal what the monster looks like and you're like, really? That's what it looks like? That's so stupid? No, the monster actually looks legitimately scary. And up to this point, you only see an arm or a foot. And it's effective because most of the scares in this movie are psychological. And they come from just kind of getting inside your head and the feeling of dread, just waiting for something to happen. And you're expecting a jump scare and there isn't a jump scare. It goes in an entirely different direction. And that's what made it super effective. Very few horror movies legitimately scare me. Like, there's something like, yeah, they creep me out. I think that was a good story. But there's a few where I'm like, oh, this movie is actually really terrifying. And this was one of them. This movie actually legitimately terrified me. And I thought it was very well directed. It had an interesting plot and a unique idea for the monster and why the monster exists. It's sort of like if Sully from Monsters, Inc. had been evil, or going back to the E.T. idea, if E.T. had come to Earth to abduct Elliot instead of befriending him. And yeah, I thought this was actually a really scary movie. It was really well done. Bravo. Bravo to everyone involved. This movie was fantastic. I tried to find something, anything about this movie I hated. I was like, okay, is the ending going to be terrible? Is it going to be a really good movie, then the ending is going to be awful? Like, no, the ending was actually pretty good. I liked sort of the twists that involved the ending. I was like, okay, were there plot holes or things that didn't make sense or things that I could complain about? No, there wasn't really much in this movie off the top of my head right now that I find that I could complain about. I thought it was very effective. I thought it was very well directed. It was very well done. So yes, I would give Come Play an A+, a 10 out of 10, and a 5 out of 5 stars.